Welcome back, y'all, to another edition of Cooking with Chunk, the Super Chunk. Well, today we have a 5-pound brisket flat that we're going to put on the smoker. We're going to do it Texas style with some salt and pepper. First thing, going to hit it with some injection. We're going to rub it down, throw it out there. We're going to wrap it up in some of that pink butcher paper everybody loves in Texas. I don't know, it's Florida. Whatever. In Florida, we use tin foil. Why? Because we're the wiener of America. So, first thing, got the brisket flat from Sam's Club here in Florida, because that's what we use. We use no Costco here. Generally, when they come, in their little cryovac there, they come pretty well trimmed. There's not really much to do, so except for clean up just a little bit of fat on the backside here. I'll show you in just a minute when we go to season it. Didn't really have to trim all that much just to get that nice 1/4 inch thick of delicious fat on the end, because everybody likes the little fatty pieces on the end of a brisket, and if you don't, whatever, go hug a tree. Anyways, so let's get started. What I'm going to do is inject this. I'm using some of Kosmos Q Special Reserve brisket injection and some of this Butcher's Barbecue Prime Dust. The two together work fantastic. Adds a lot of moisture. What I did was I mixed it with some beef stock, just some prepared beef stock you buy from the store. And it's going to add that delicious beefy flavor that everybody likes. I know that I like beefy flavor. So, first things, I need to glove up because nobody likes beefy hands. I know I don't like beefy hands. You may like beefy hands. I know one person that likes beefy hands, Nick Williams. Old Mr. Latex. I literally don't have any gloves. Mr. Latex!
Okay, I got some gloves for you.
Whoa! Look at here! Nick Williams in the flesh! All right, you want to do this with me? You want to glove up?
Yes, I'll glove up.
Too bad.
I found the light.
So welcome, Nick.
Thank you.
I'm glad you finally made it. So, anyways, so what we're doing now is we're going to go ahead and inject this brisket flat before we get it on. And what we want to do is just you want to inject it and just let it sit out here for 20, 30 minutes to come up to room temperature. Let this injection do the work. As you can see, I got one of those barbecue marinated needles. And on this brisket, you just want to start, whatever side you want to start, you want to work in a grid pattern. So that way you're not missing anything. Flats, you can always see the grain structure. This one's actually running away from us here, or I guess towards me or away from you guys. Or I guess it can run that way too. Whatever. You know how it is. Anyways, so I'm just going to start on one end and start working over, or left to right, right to left, up top to bottom. Who cares? As long as you get it filled full of delicious fluid, right? So I'm going to start over here. Just going to poke the little girl in here. Make a little pocket. Just give it a good squirt. Some's going to come out. There ain't nothing you can do about that. Just don't be scared. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Ooh, squirting out. That's the way we like it. So there. And just go right on down. Just go right on down the line. Like I said, just put it in there, make a little pocket inside with the end of the needle. Squirt just a little bit, doesn't take much, because it's going to travel down these channels of the grain structure of the meat. And as you can see, I'm starting to lose some already, but don't worry about that. I mean, seriously, you're always going to lose some, because either it's going to come out of the backside, or, the meat is cut, so it's not one big piece. So it's going to come out from little places. But trust me when I tell you, you're going to get plenty of injection inside here. So let me go ahead and inject all this. Then I'll clean it up a little bit with some paper towels, and we'll put the rub on. So stand by for a minute. Welcome back. So I've injected the old girl here pretty well. Nice grid pattern. Like I said, it comes out and stuff like that. But the good part is now we don't need a binder. We can actually use all the injection that's come to the top, squirt it out on the sides, use that as a binder for the rub. So I made up this rub, basically 50-50 salt, coarse kosher salt, black pepper, and I threw in a little bit of onion powder and a little garlic powder. Sure, it may not be 100% Texas, but you know what? Again, this is Florida. We do what we want, right? So all I'm gonna do is just give this a nice good coat all over. Get all these spices worked in, all the salt and pepper. This is gonna make this brisket taste fantastic. So, you know, I was gonna have old Nick Williams do this with me, but he refused to rub my meat. I don't know what the problem is. I guess he was scared. Anyway, so maybe he ran out of gloves. I don't know. He's the one that always says, no glove, no love. So get this all rubbed down and flip it over. You can see the fat cap here. It's not too bad. I had to trim it in a couple places. Again, this is a 5-pound brisket flat. I'm not doing the point on this only because the whole packer briskets, generally, you know, they weigh 10, 15 pounds. And quite honestly, I just didn't have the time today to do a whole entire packer brisket. So not so much worried about getting all the seasoning so much on the fat side because most of this is going to render off anyway. So just there's a couple places where the meat was kind of poking through the fat. So I just want to make sure I get those really well because you want to get the most flavoring on the meat as you can. And don't neglect the sides. Got to get it up here on the sides as well. All right. Use some of this other stuff here. And I should have made more rub. It'll be all right. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this all finished up, and I'm going to go fire up the pit, let this sit on the counter for 30 minutes, 45 minutes to come up to room temperature. That way it just cooks a lot quicker and a lot more even because you don't want a cold center putting it on a hot grill. So cooking on the the Yoder Smokers YS640 today, running 250 degrees. I've got a mixture of cherry, oak, and pecan pellets. It's going to make a nice base of flavor, smoky flavor. Also got that amazing smoke tube in there again for all that smoky goodness. All right, get this all done. Go fire up the pit. I'll meet you back out there in just a few minutes. See you. Oh, hey, so we're back. Got my Yoder Smokers YS640 running here. It's running right about 250, 275. It still needs to come down just a little bit, but we're working good. I'm gonna throw this brisket on the top rack. And in my previous videos, I've told you that the right side of my grill is much hotter than my left side. So I'm gonna stick the meaty portion, or the thicker portion on that side. And I'm going fat cap down on this. Why? Because I get a lot of radiant heat from the bottom. So I'm gonna stick it right here on the top rack. Let it go. I got my smoke tube running here. As you can see, the little smoke that's coming up the top. That'll add all that extra smoky goodness that we love. So what we're going to do now is just let this sit in here. I'm probably not going to touch it at all or even open the smoker. I'm going to let it run for at least 2 hours. I'll come out and check. Just make for right now, we're cooking for color. I'm not cooking for temperature. So once it gets that deep, dark mahogany look that I want, then I'll go ahead and grab that butcher paper, wrap it up, and stick a probe in it. We'll run it to about 200 degrees, so stand by. See you in a couple hours. All right, so it's been about 2 hours, between 2 and 2.5 hours since we put it on here. I haven't opened it up to look at it, so I'm kind of nervous to see. We'll see what it looks like. So, oh yeah, look at that. Got a little moisture pooling on the end. Nice dark mahogany look that I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing off. Get my butcher paper ready, and we'll throw it in some butcher paper, throw it back on the smoker. So give me a few minutes to get the butcher paper ready. We'll be right back to you. All right, so I got my butcher paper set up. I'm going 2 layers of butcher paper this time. I'm going to do one regular way, and then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and do it the other way. I'm going to stick it back on there. So let's get this thing off here. Oh yeah, definitely looking good. Still firm. Oh yeah. Look at that. Smelling good. So the reason I'm using butcher paper is because I want to preserve this nice bark that I've created here. If I use foil, there's a chance that the steam may wreck this delicious bark we have going on here. So, So when we put it back in here, I'm going to still go fat side down. Just get all wrapped nice and tight. Go right back on the same spot. As for right now, the smoke doesn't really make any difference whatsoever anymore, because obviously it's wrapped up, so not much smoke is going to permeate this paper. So I'm going to run a probe in it, get it going. We'll get you back when it's right around 200 degrees. Probably another couple hours. Can't wait. See you in a few. Well, there's been some time passed. It's been about 4 hours since I've wrapped it. So we're looking right about 6.5 hours right now. So long cook. So I'm going to open it up. My temperature's reading at 200. So haven't messed with it since. Just pull it out of here, unwrap it. I just want to feel to see how tender it is. Really, temperature-wise, it could be 200, it could be 205, whatever. It all goes by feel. So I'm gonna put a probe in it, just see what it feels like. If it's nice and tender, is what I'm looking for. And as you can see, the butcher paper here has definitely done its job, holding in some of the moisture. But it's just allowed just enough to escape. So let's see what we got. Let's open this bad boy up. Man, super hot. You can see, oh yeah, definitely. Probe tender. Oh yeah, it feels nice and spongy. You see it jiggling there, so you know it's got that brisket jiggle. Brisket jiggle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wrap this up. Get this all wrapped back up. Hang on one second. I'm gonna throw it in this pan right here. I'm gonna set it down right here in this nice cooler, nice dry cooler in the pan. And I'm gonna let the old girl rest for, I'm gonna say about an hour this time. So we're gonna hit it for an hour. It's gonna still raise a little bit in temperature, so it's gonna, even get more tender as it sits in there. So let it rest. When it's finished resting, we'll bring it inside. Slice her up. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Stand by. It's time for some brisket. It's been about an hour rest. As you can see, we still have our great bark. Perfect color. Let's see what kind of nice jiggle. Let's see what kind of smoke ring we got. Remember now, you want to cut this against the grain. So that way, brisket's a tough cut of meat. So give yourself every advantage. If you cut with the grain, it's going to be super chewy. So you can see it's still steaming. Tons of juice. I'm looking at on brisket, primarily you want to do about 1/4 inch thick slices, or if you don't know how big 1/4 inch is, because some guys obviously overestimate 1/4 inch. Just use the size of a number 2 pencil. So everybody knows what that is. If they don't, they clearly didn't come to school in America. Anyways. Oh yeah. One more slice here, and let me open this thing up so you can see. Oh yeah. Look at that. Just tons of juice still. Everything, fat's on the bottom, perfect. Let's look at this slice. Oh yeah. Look at that. Wants to go over. Let's try to pull. Oh yeah. Perfect pull. It doesn't just fall apart in your hands. There's a little bit of tug, and it just comes right apart. Well, of course, except for that piece. Now I look like a dick. So, let's give this a try. Still hot though. You can taste the spices in the rub, the pepper, the salt, but the inside it tastes super beefy. That prime dust, that Kosmos cube, and that beef stock that's used really, really, really gives it a great flavor. So You know what? This would make old Nick Williams' wife's uncle proud. Kind of use his recipe to a point, but great. Perfect. Give this recipe a try. I can promise you, you won't be disappointed. You can buy all the spices and stuff online. Usually they're available on Amazon, things like that. Fairly cheap, and you get a lot, so you can do it for a bunch. This brisket will probably last a little while. If we don't end up eating it all tonight or tomorrow, then you can stick it in the freezer, but you want to stick it whole in the freezer. So, just want to show you some of these other slices. Look at this smoke ring. Look at that. Man. Don't cut that fat off, because that fat gives it that super buttery flavor that you wouldn't get if it was gone. Man, I can't say enough about this brisket. You guys got to give this a try. If you're scared of doing brisket, a lot of people are. It's so easy. I just showed you how easy it is. Don't be afraid of it. Make it happen. So, until next time, like and subscribe. We're going to do more videos. Summertime, barbecue season. Let's make it happen. So, see you later. Have a good day.